Hey guys, so today I just wanted to talk about my coming out experience, and my gradual acceptance of being gay. I think that these videos are important because it shows the diversity in the LGBT community and how everyone's story is different. So in hindsight, I can realise that was different for a lot of my early life. In primary school, when people started talking about girlfriends, and someone asked me to be their girlfriend, I don't like a weird sinking feeling in my stomach, and then also my first crush on a guy, it was kind of the opposite feeling, it was a strong needing to be near him, and it was weird because it was my dad took me to go see Lion King, and it was one of the actors there who was around my same age, and obviously at the time I didn't know what it was. I just realised that I was having these thoughts, these feelings, and I never had them before. So yeah, I mean, I guess I realised that why I felt different during secondary school. So when puberty starts kicking and my friends all becoming more interested in girls, and that topic of conversation is brought up constantly, and I just didn't feel it. They would all be talking about which girls they found attractive, and I wasn't. I had to fake the input, and that's when I think that I realised that if I felt that I wanted to be accepted, that I had to go along with these conversations. So even though I was finding guys attractive, I would come up with input into these conversations, saying who I felt attractive to, and and that. And I guess this is when the splitting of my personality started. So I'd be going to parties, getting with girls, making up stories about sleeping with girls, and then going home and watching gay porn. I did sleep with girls, and it didn't feel right. I'd have these thoughts pop into my mind that, oh, you're gay, and you're never going to like girls, and I would instantly reject them. I'd say, no, that's not true, because this is about 10 years ago, and in about 2010, there wasn't much representation at that time. We've come a long way in this period, and I didn't see anyone who I felt represented me, so I thought, I'm not stereotypical in a lot of the different aspects of myself, so I couldn't be gay. And I think that started a lot of repression. And then I started using unhealthy coping mechanisms. I started drinking a lot, trying with different other things. And I think 14, 15, 16 is a difficult time for everyone. You're trying to work out who you are. And the only part of who I knew I was actively repressing. I was actively going against. So the more I realised that things weren't going to change, the more I started to seek out, videos like these, the coming out videos, and trying to learn about how other people got through it. And they'd always say things are going to get better, and for me, they just kept on getting worse. My drinking was escalating. I was getting blackout drunk most weekends, doing absolutely stupid things, constantly lying to my friends, and putting on a persona of who I thought people wanted me to be. And this carried on until I was about 18, 19, and I went to university, and I was put in a flat with a gay guy, and he was the first person I came out to. And I think that when I said them words the first time, it's just like a massive weight off your shoulders, because it's thoughts that have been spinning in your head for me for 4 or 5 years, and that I never verbalised, I never talked to anyone about, and your brain always goes to worst case scenario. It can make up any story that you have, and until you actually talk to someone about it, and they can rationalise it and say, well, you're just making that up, and this is the facts, it makes it a lot easier. And then 2 weeks after that, I came out to my best friend. But yeah, I came back up to uni, and I think I just went back to my old self. I didn't really talk to any other gay people. Didn't put myself out there. Just carried on drinking, and and numbing myself. And I mean, it wasn't really until I met my ex-boyfriend that things started to improve. Because when I met him, my parents basically came up to see me from uni, and I said I was going to introduce him as my boyfriend, but I didn't. So they met him, but obviously I hadn't told them explicitly. And then they were coming down a day after we were going down. So they said that he could just sleep in the spare room, and basically what I did was I left his pillows in my room. So when my parents came back, obviously they knew, they got the hint. But I always felt that my brother, who's straight, he never had to say I'm gay. Well, I'm straight, obviously. And I felt I didn't have to say I'm gay, and I felt that if I introduced him as my boyfriend, that was me coming out, and I didn't want to come out. So, I let them infer it. And then my mum had a chat with me one day, and she said, "How long have you known?" And I think it's a valid question. It's a fair enough question. But my reply to her was, "Well, how long have you known that you were straight?" But they've all been really accepting. I never had a bad reaction when I came out, and I think that coming out to my family was the most important part, because then the people who knew me the best, I could be who I am and who I've always been. And that allowed me to start speaking more freely about it, to bring it up when people asked me if I had a girlfriend, if I was in a relationship. And I think it's levels of acceptance that you get. I think there's some resistance that I still have to it. I still have a lot of internalized homophobia, and it's something that I have to actively work on. Like reading books like Velvet Rage and Straight Jacket, they really are eye-opening. But I think what I've learned the most from these experiences is that the only person who's there for the whole of your life is you. So you need to know who you are and be congruent in your behaviour to that. Because the whole time that I knew I was gay and I wasn't acting, or wasn't allowing myself to act in that way, or to be who I was, I had the worst time. I was, I didn't want to be here the whole time. I didn't feel like I had a meaning. I didn't see the point in getting up every day. And I think I still struggle from that now certain times, but I'm in a much better place than I was before, and I'm trying to get help. I'm trying to get better, and to make myself into a person who can help others. So yeah, I think that it's really important, as when you're growing up, you want to be the same as everyone else. You want to fit in, and then as you get older, you want to be different. I've realised for me that I was so obsessed with how other people thought about me that I didn't realise that the most important thing is how I feel about myself. And we've evolved to be social beings. We need to be accepted by other people to survive. But you want to be accepted for who you are, not who others think you are, or who others think you should be. There's an analogy saying that your life is a movie, and you're the main character in that movie. Everyone else in it, your friends, your family, your loved ones, they might have a side role, and everyone else who's in it is just an extra. And whenever do you see a main character care about an extra? You don't. And if you flip it, everyone else is the main character in their movie, and again, unless you have a side role in their life and you're important in their life, you're just an extra. And ultimately, everyone's thinking about themselves so much, they're thinking about what you think about them. They're not thinking about you. So I think that if someone had told me this when I was younger, I probably wouldn't have listened to them. It's something that you have to learn, but I think it definitely is true. So yeah, try it. If it's safe, come out and be who you are, because that's the point where your life actually starts. And it's scary, and it might not happen how you want it to go, and you might lose friends, you might even lose family members. So if you're not in a position where you can look after yourself, then and you think that you are going to have them reactions, I can't advise it. But I mean, I was lucky enough that I knew that everyone in my family would never have a problem with it, and I still didn't do it till I was 19, 20. So, and the world is getting better. It's changed a lot in my life, and I'm sure it'll change a lot in another 23 years. But I think at the moment we need to share our stories, we need to tell other people who we are, and we need to be visible, because that's the only way we'll make progress.